It's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 248. We are on day 4 of computers and the senses, and we are talking about the vestibular system today. Today we're going to talk about how the vestibular system contributes, vestibular being our sense of gravity and where we are in space. We're going to talk about how the vestibular system, when we work on computers, can interact with our stressors, but how we can also use it as good energy in. All right, let's start with the basics. Let's take a deep breath in and release. And on this deep breath in, take a deep breath in, expand in the belly, expand in the chest, expand in the sinuses, and tuck your tail a little. And release. And because we are talking about the vestibular sense, I want you to think about a time when either you got dizzy or when you were working on a computer and you felt a little off kilter. Or if you were, here's a good one. Let's say you were working on a tablet or a device and you lost track of where you were in space, and maybe you stepped down a step or you missed a step. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. All right, so today is day 4 of computers and the senses. We're talking about the vestibular system. Remember, as I said, the vestibular system is the sense of where you are in space. And today I am a little off kilter because I am sitting on something that is designed to keep me off balance or wiggling. I am sitting, of course, on my little balance seat, and that is a way to minimize the stressors of the vestibular system. All right, so remember, our job is to have energy to interact with a computer or energy to get through our interactions with the computer and still have energy to do other things equals good energy and minus stressors. And today we're going to talk about the stressors that can impact the vestibular system while we're working on computers. And we're going to talk about the ways to release some of that stress, get some good energy in while we are working on computers. So let's think about the stressors. When you are working on a computer, you are typically in a seated position. And this is related a little bit to ergonomics because of the fact, but we're going to kind of hijack kinesthetic and kind of lean into ergonomics. The idea that you are seated all day long when you are working on a computer is that you are having the force of gravity just kind of land smack dab on you, going straight through the system, squishing that spine, squishing that pelvis, tightening up those hip flexors because you are in that single spot at all times. That is definitely a stressor. You know, we've talked about it, the meme that goes around that's sitting in front of your computer is the new smoking. It is in a different system. The neurological system and the bones and joints do not enjoy that straight compression all the time. The other thing that we could talk about in terms of vestibular, where you are in space, looking at your device all the time with your head down does strain your neck muscles, does strain your jaw a little to be in this position. And so that pull of looking at your device all the time can cause neck strain and can reduce your sense of balance. So even though it's not directly impinging, for example, your semicircular canals, remember that the neck, the jaw, the ankles, the hips all contribute to your sense of where you are in space with a vestibular sense. So working at a computer or working on a device in a single position for a long period of time is going to stress the vestibular system. Your sense of balance will be off because there's going to be strain on your neck, there's going to be strain on your jaw, there's going to be a strain on those muscles as they try to hold neck, jaw, shoulders into place. So what can we do to get good energy in? Well, clearly one of the things we can do is we can get a seat that allows us to wobble a little bit, allows us to shift from one side to the other, so we aren't constantly, or shifting back and forth, so that we aren't constantly pushing in one direction on the spine. We're allowing multiple directions, multiple leaning in and leaning out. And in fact, in doing so, we're actually stretching the muscles around the spine. We're stretching the muscles around the hips and pelvis, which then allow more sensory information to come into here, which improve your sense of balance. We also have the access, if you're in a regular desk chair, you do know that you can spin around, and spinning is good. Spinning is good for your sense of balance, and taking a spinning break. We're going to talk about this, I think tomorrow we're going to talk about sight breaks. And the same thing holds for the vestibular system. You can take sitting breaks. Frankly, you could take touch breaks, you could take taste breaks, you could take smell breaks. Taste and smell are a little more obnoxious. If you are working in an office setting, but touch and vestibular, man, those are under your control. You can do those whenever you want. You can set up your timer on your computer to say, hey, 50 minutes, it's time to spin, it's time to touch some really nice soft things. Now I can get back at it. Now, the other weird thing, I don't know, my feed has it every once in a while, and I don't know if your Facebook feed has it every once in a while, that completely reclining desk where you can actually put your computer on it and lock it in and then actually recline so that you're lying on the floor and you're lying on your back and you're typing away. Now, that is definitely one way to relieve stress on your body. Not the way I would recommend, unless you really need it. If you need a way to relieve stress off your spine because you're sitting so much, stand. And if you can't stand because your desk doesn't move up enough, or you can't find a way to get it to a standing desk height, then just stand for a little bit and move around and come back. So yes, those lying down desks really kind of do look cool, but unless you really need to, unless you are in so much pain that you cannot stand or take a break, I would even opt for a walking desk above those if I were to think about different ways to move or to be oriented while I am using a computer. I would definitely move to a walking desk instead. All right, so we have wiggle. You could get you could get an exercise ball, you could bounce, you could stand, all sorts of other ways that you could get vestibular information in that would be helpful and good energy into the system. All right, join me back here tomorrow. I think tomorrow is sight, so we're going to talk about sight breaks from your computer. Go ahead and finish this off. Take a deep breath in and release. Have a great day. I will see you here tomorrow. Take care.